Today, we're going to be talking about how to set up a persona in Sitefinity Insight. To start, you're going to want to navigate to your Analytics dashboard and make sure you're in the Personas area of your reporting set. Once you navigate to Personas under Audience, you will be presented with this dashboard. To start, you're going to want to define your persona. From here, you'll want to name your persona, give it a distinctive characteristic, implement a photo if you have one, and put in your threshold for points. I will describe each of these in more detail in just a second. To start, you want to name your persona. For the purposes of this demo, I'm going to treat this site as if it were a banking site. So we're going to start with creating a persona such as Personal Banking Paul. When defining a characteristic, you'll want to include something about Paul that aligns with his goals throughout the website. For example, Paul is a prospect interest in personal banking products. From here, if you had a photo you would like to associate with this persona, you would simply upload your photo under this section here that says Photo and Select. For the purposes of this demo, I will not be doing that today. Once you have these characteristics, you want to set your threshold for points. This essentially helps separate users from the user group that identify with this persona. For example, let's make the threshold 30 points. If we have certain tasks for completion that are set at 10 points, you'll then know that this persona has to complete 3 of these tasks to be considered a personal banking client. This will make more sense when I set up the ruling regulations. From here, you're going to click Save Persona. You can see here our Personal Banking Paul has been created, and now we'll want to define the ruling categories that will help Paul reach his goals and align with his persona. To do that, you're going to return to your dashboard and click View All Scoring Rules. From here, this is going to present all rules created for all personas, but you'll be able to see that some points are only associated with certain personas. So not every rule breakdown aligns with each persona specifically. From the Scoring Rules dashboard, simply click Add Rule to add a new rule. From here, you'll want to define the rule. Simply click on Define under Condition. There's a couple of selections here. For the purpose of this demo, I'm going to create a rule that associates with search terms. This means when a user is on your site and searches for, let's say, checking accounts, they will be associated with our created persona of Personal Banking Paul. From here, you're going to click Done to save your rule. Now, if a persona searches for checking accounts, they will trigger the rule. Here you can select your persona, and we're going to select the persona we just created of Personal Banking Paul. Now you can see we have the rule created and the rules associated with our Personal Banking Paul persona. From here, you can add points, subtract points, or reset points to define your persona. In this case, we're going to add points. You can also update the frequency. So let's say Paul comes to the site and searches checking accounts. If he does it once, he will be given 10 points and never again. However, if we set it to every time, this would mean every time he comes to the site and searches for checking accounts, he is given an additional 10 points. As I mentioned before, and as you can see here, Personal Banking Paul's threshold is 30 points. If he searches for checking accounts, he will be given 10 points. This means that for a user to reach this threshold of 30 points and be considered a Personal Banking Paul persona, they would have to search for checking accounts 3 times if we make it every time, or by doing this once, they will be given 10 points and only need an additional 20 by other defined rules to be considered in this persona group. Once you define your rule, you're simply going to save rule. Once sent back to the main personas dashboard, you can click into View All Scoring Rules, and you'll be able to see the rule that we've defined for search for checking accounts allocates 10 points to Personal Banking Paul. And that is how you set up scoring rules and personas within Sitefinity Insight.